govern. After learning, it can turn towards the empire and control it. Same is here. Operator, you have felt, okay, you can see your thoughts, nothing. In a second, you realize, okay, if I am seeing, watching, it means I am different. It is clear. Now, some learning externally going to you to strengthen that operator. I said from very one day, I am not teaching your body and mind. I am trying to strengthen that operator, that little infant in you, in each of us. And once it is little bit strengthened, it knows how to connect. Because whole divine potentiality is there. It is a seed out of which huge divine tree can come. So connect to the divine source. Get the direct learning. Or through books. Books are very helpful. Written by the operators, not by the machines. Make always this distinction. If you read books written by the machines about the yoga, they may talk very brilliantly, but nothing will go in. Or either it will go only to the brain, mind, that's all. Whole life you will be engaged in that and no detachment and nothing will take place. That will be highly exciting, something new, but no change. So always read the enlightened people. And enlightened, there are very few. Can you take some names? Sri Aurobindo, Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Ramana Maharshi, Adi Shankara, Ramana Maharshi. Only few. Sorry, I should not say. But see, there may be a dispute on Ravi Shankar, there may be dispute on Osho, there may be dispute on J. Krishnamurti.
Ravi Shankar is the art of living.
Yeah.
Art of living.
But there is no dispute on Vivekananda, Ramana Maharshi, Shankara, Ramakrishna. So always take guidance from them. Very modestly I am saying. Because you may see, gurus are there and we have faith in the guru. Take the example of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. He is a great guru. But there are stages of enlightenment. In the process of developing the operator, there will come a time in this life or next life, you will also act as such big gurus. But final enlightenment is still far away. That when that will take place, no, your words will become testimony. Aptavakya. So if such things are available, such sources are available, it is safer. This is what we say. And again, first separate operator. Let the operator decide. If it feels this is the right one, not the body and mind. If operator, let first strengthen it, make it sufficiently ripe to at least recognize the guru. Recognizing guru is not easy. Normally body mind recognizes what it suits to. They need comfort. So this is a very tricky thing. So better see yourself as what you are, the operator. You have an empire. Now you need to learn how to govern it. That is clear. And how you can do it if somebody is really making you detached, helping you, not putting you any superstition, not saying do this, do that, not making you fearful. If you don't do this, this will happen. Don't do this, this will happen. If you don't worship your guru, then there is a Guru Gita. It says you will go to this hell, that hell. Don't do that. We all are same. What is inside the Ramakrishna is inside you, the same soul. Only they have manifested it, we have not manifested. That's all. That is only the difference. And Dattatreya had 21 gurus. The greatest yogis, some call them incarnation also. So there may be many gurus. But the gurus of the market force you to have only one guru. Right time will come when your soul will decide, after visiting so many gurus, this is the final destination. Let it decide. That is connecting to the divine. But make your soul little more grown up. Let not body and mind choose guru for you. They will never. It is just like that infant child is there and the empire is there. There are the vice presidents and all. They know that boss has gone away. Now the only child is left. So they will be looting the empire. And if you give them the responsibility of training you, will they train you? No. So putting us in the hands of body and mind is just like that. Putting the operator in the hands of body and mind is what is happening everywhere. Operator is in the hand of the body and mind. And it is said that body and mind is teaching the operator. This is also a philosophy. When you listen, they are giving jolts so you can wake up. This is true to an extent. The process is very slow. Lives and lives will go on. So you have to wake up and take the charge. Otherwise, lives over lives will go on in the suffering. So process is non-attachment. And practice of non-attachment. In 1 minute what you did in the meditation, you practiced non-attachment. You saw the thought is there, you saw the thought is not there. See, non-attachment doesn't mean the lack of affection, lack of love, which is normally interpreted. It is not non-attachment. Non-attachment is knowing that you are not body-mind complex, but it is your machine. And you love your computer. You take care of your computer. You take care of a bike. You keep it nicely clean. So you have to take care of your body and mind as well. Then you will be seeing, okay, these viruses of jealousy, hatred, EPCAM, they are hampering the working of the mind. It is such a fine instrument, its working has been hampered. So remove jealousy, hatred, lust, greed, this, that. Make it more perfect. This will be your job, operators. So the machine being perfected, now the operator can enjoy the world more. It is now the perfect machines. These yogis, why they are developing their divinity? To enjoy this grandeur of the creation by the divine. It is full of bliss. It has been made by the particles of bliss. There is no sorrow in it. We suffer because our machines are infected with the viruses. The aim of yoga is the divine bliss. Ultimately. They all are the most happiest person. But our happiness is linked with the misery. One moment we are happy, another moment we are full of miseries, sorrows. So that's why a new term is used, ananda, bliss. Sukh, dukh and ananda. Ananda is that which doesn't depend on anything. Bliss, which doesn't depend on any external object. And sukh, dukh, happiness and misery, they are dependent in nature. For that you need some sense object to make you happy and unhappy. Am I right? Without sense objects, how you can be happy or unhappy? You are dependent. If you need happiness, you need something of your liking. And though you don't need misery, but if there is something of disliking, you are not happy. That is misery. Being not happy is also misery, painful. And mind moves only in two directions, of likes, wants more, likes, dislikes, no, go away. So movement is there also, not dislike. Whereas bliss is independent of the, it is independent. It is not based on anything. If it is based on anything, then you are captive, you are slave. And if it is your nature, bliss is your nature, then you are not slave. Situation may be bad, good. Do you think these great souls, they didn't suffer? Ramakrishna had cancer. Vivekananda has many diseases. Ramana Maharshi had cancer. But it is happening with their machines. They knew. And they were the operators full of bliss. Because the operator is bliss, nothing else. Atman is full of Sat Chid Ananda Swarup. It is absolute existence, absolute consciousness, absolute bliss. They have developed that. Now they know the body is decaying. It will decay in one way or another way. What is the difference? Mind attached to body may cry, but they knew their mind is crying, let it cry. So these are the things. Dependent happiness is equal to misery. You can write this equation. Happiness depending on anything other than you is a misery. Even one, I gave you one more bold statement. Depending for happiness, even on your body and mind, is also misery. They are also external objects. When you take the position of soul, the operator, then this body and mind also become the external object. This is the detachment. This is non-attachment. It doesn't mean you will not be using car. Everything you will be doing. But your standpoint is changed. Your constitutional position has changed. Your body and mind has also become external object to you. Now where the suffering will enter? This much awareness when takes place and constant practice of that. In a day it cannot happen. It may take lifetime. It may take 2 lives, 3 lives, but not more than that. Continuous practice. 1 minute daily, 2 minutes daily, 5 minutes daily, go on increasing it, and there will come a time when you need not to sit for the meditation. Whole day you can remain aware. You may think in this way, okay, let's get up, body, get up, mind, get up. Okay, body, I'm taking you to the mall. I'm taking a mind, get ready. Very lazy, very reluctant to go there. Come up, come on. I'm going to take you to the Patanjali Yoga Sutra classes. Why you are so reluctant? Mind will say, because it is destroying me. It is destroying my authority over you. Okay, let it destroy you and your authority. It is giving me my authority. So let me go there. In that way, playing with the body and mind, controlling it. It's a machine. Machine, if suppose machine term is not suitable, then think that it's your horse. You are riding on it. You are riding, you have to ride it on it. Initially you were put on it with the ropes tied on you. Slowly you have loosened the ropes, got up and started driving the horse. So the horse will suddenly feel, what has happened this? Earlier I used to go wherever I wanted to go. That boy, that boy was tied to me. Now the boy is controlling the tights. What is this? From where he has learned all this? This is nonsense. Let him sleep again. So that is how the mind will revolt, I tell you. If you really think in this way, if you have started talking to yourself, that will help you a lot. Take it as a tool. Start treating mind and body as other than you. There was one great Swami Ram Tirth, if you have heard his name. He was contemporary to Swami Vivekananda. Not contemporary exactly, after Swami Vivekananda. He attended one of Swamiji's class when he was young. Vivekananda ji was delivering a lecture somewhere and he was professor of mathematics in that college, Ram Tirth, Swami Ram Tirth. So after hearing sudden vairagya, sudden non-attachment suddenly aroused in him, and after that he left and became a monk. This happens in the previous life when they have practiced a lot and get the right position. See sanskaras. The sanskaras of non-attachments are also stored till you get fully unattached. If you practice this, every day 5 minutes you are practicing that you are not the body and mind, you are the operator, you are the soul. This is also being stored as the impression. And piling up such impressions is very good. Go on putting it inside your sanskaras, and when they are sufficient, and if someone of the enlightened nature comes close to you, these sanskaras will come forward suddenly, take over the command. It happens. So it is better to practice it. So suddenly I felt that calling machine, it's better to call it horse, his body, so you can ride it. This is to ride. This body mind is to ride. Give a nice ride to them. Learn how they move, how they walk. This is what Patanjali is telling. These are the 5 categories in which thought waves will be arising. He has in fact opened the book of mind, making mind piece by piece very clear. Now you, as operator, you are learning this way, this thought came, okay, it is falling in this category. Try this, take it as a game, play. This thought came, okay, in which category it goes? Is it proof? It is indiscrimination? It is fantasy, verbal delusion? It's coming from memory? Sleep need not to. You will be sleeping and knowing that you are sleeping. You want any break? So, I have 5 minutes break. Okay. In fact, it came to my mind, but somehow I extended. Let's go. Let's see. This is in fact the capability enhancement. We were sitting from last, I think, 2 hours. Come after 5 minutes.
I have to go at 12 o'clock today.
Tomorrow
Today.
At-
I leave at 12.
at 12?
12. I teach yoga and other things, so I have to.
Okay, you may go. No issue. I will summarize what today I will be teaching.
Okay.
Tomorrow I will summarize. So you will not be missing. Okay.
और ये वर्कशॉप ऐसे का कुछ बड़ा पेमेंट है तो उतना नहीं 2020 पहले